Hello and welcome to the video. We are just a few days away from the naked model season. I'm super excited. How about you guys? I can't wait to see some of these naked models. One I'm really looking forward to is one named Vicky, but it's not those kind of models. We're talking about plastic scale models and doing them bare or naked, and that means no primers, no paints, no clear coats, no coatings whatsoever, just the bare raw plastics. Essentially a throwback to the early days, or as many of us started, just with a kit, a knife, some glue, throw whatever's in the box together and enjoy it for what it is. We can obviously expand on that, but we'll get into more of that at the bench in a minute. But we'll kind of go over the rules. This is just a group build, so the rules are loose and however you want to take them. But again, rules: no paint, no primers, no clear coats, no coatings whatsoever. And we will be running this from December 1st through February 29th. That is a 3-month build window, and I think that'll be plenty of time for anybody that wants to join without any painting. It's just an assembly process, so I think it can go pretty quickly, even in an afternoon or just a couple of hours, depending on your kits. So it's a kit that you can take anywhere. I know we're coming up to the holiday seasons, so you can take it with you on the road, in the hotel room, at the in-laws, at grandpa and grandma's, wherever you go. You could take this build along with you and do it there. And just a couple more of the quote-unquote rules. I would like an entry and a final video. That can be all in one video, since this can be a pretty quick build depending on which kit and which path you choose to go with it. So again, entry, final, and that can go up whenever you would like. I would also like a photo from everyone that participates. At least one photo, kind of that 3/4 above shot with a clear background. Hopefully you have some like poster board or a sheet or a towel, something, just kind of give it a clean background. I'd like to compile those all into a video. You can send up to, say, 5 pictures to me in my email. Email is always in the description of all of my videos. It's here on the screen, Sodakmodelcars@gmail.com. So if you're going to participate, I'd like one final picture of that. If you're not on YouTube, you can also participate in this group build. Just send me some photos through email. Again, that same email, show me kind of like your starting kit, maybe a process or two, and then again, that final video with your name, however you want it displayed, and I will compile those at the end with the others, or if you're doing updates, I can slide those in with some other videos along the way. One other kind of loose rule is I would prefer it be automotive based, as I'm an automotive car channel. But if you would like to participate and don't build cars, by all means, jump in, build a plane or tank or whatever you would like. Any kind of naked model is good with us. And one last thing before we jump over to the bench and talk about the extra things that you can do, some tips and stuff along the way, is my Facebook group. If you are on Facebook and going to be in this group build, please go over there and join that Facebook group. There's 3 questions when you go to answer, just to kind of keep the scammers and bots out of the way. But if you are there, it'd be a great place to kind of share your build process, maybe look for some parts, share some parts, whatever you need to do. Again, please join the Facebook group. Links are in the description of all of my videos for my Facebook group, my email. All of the ways to get a hold of me are always in the description of my videos. So let's get over to the bench and talk about some of the extras you can do in your group build. And welcome to the bench. Here we'll talk about the basics and the core of the group build, and then expand into some things that you can do to enhance your model build and or your skill sets. But first, the core of model building is a kit, a knife, and glue. That is all you need to assemble one of these kits, and that's how many used to do it. That's how I did it before I was old enough to paint, kind of the early days or in the middle of the winter, as I am doing this group build for that reason. Living in the northern US, there's not always a place that you can paint. Certainly can't paint outside when it is blizzarding out, but you can still assemble a model without paint. So again, a kit, a knife, and glue is all you need to enter this group build, but we can also add some things. And as I said, that's how they used to build them, and here's a great example of a 60s Survivor, just the way that I love them, just the raw plastic, kit chrome, kit decals, assembled, and enjoy. Just kind of the purest form of model building, and the way I love these old kits. But it did not stop in the 60s, obviously, as that's the way I used to build before I was old enough to paint, or possibly in the middle of winter. This is a kind of a pre-teen build. As you can see, it's just a kit plastic, colored interior, Same with the engine, just the engine and kit provided chrome, just assembled, put together, and enjoyed as it is. This one's barely surviving, some parts missing, but again, an example of why I'm putting on this group build. That's the way I enjoyed them. I'm sure many of you enjoyed them that way. And of course, we are in the northern US here in the Dakotas, and we're moving into wintertime where it's not always easy to find a place to paint. And that may not even be seasonal for some of you. Maybe you're in an apartment or some other place so you just can't handle the paint fumes. This is a way for you to learn how to enjoy a build with just what's provided. And now we'll start rolling into kind of the quote-unquote advanced techniques you can do on your naked models. And I would say the very first thing you can do is polish that plastic. I think I showed this off in my first announcement video, but here it is, kind of as it comes in the kit. And just a few seconds, maybe a minute, with some hand polishing, you can get this beautiful shine off of there. Looks like a clear coat, but that is just a hand polish on top of the plastic. Looks great. Great reflection, showing off the metallics. You even get the cool crash mark where the plastic meets during the molding process. There you can see kind of that side by side what just a little bit of hand polishing can do to that plastic. And here's another example I did up to show off the before and after of some polishing. You kind of as it came, and just some quick polishing gives it a nice shine. Of course, different colors, different plastics will give you different results. You can obviously see there's a much improved shine and reflection with some polishing. And of course, you could advance that polishing with some wet sanding, get some more of that kind of minor scratching and stuff out. Just like a clear coat, go super fine, and then polish up, and you'll get a beautiful finish. And kind of continuing on with the sanding and polishing, kind of one of the first things you do in a normal build is start addressing these mold seam lines. Very prominent on this model, very sharp, almost looks like it's a piece of chrome on this one. It's so prominent. That's exactly what I did on this side, was addressed those seam lines. I believe I started with 1,000 grit, worked up to 5,000. I was just doing this kind of a quick as a demo. It's the only place I sanded. You could obviously sand out here, get rid of those kind of box rash scratches, but just to show you, you can easily make those seam lines disappear. There was even some kind of like mold defects that I ended up sanding out of that fender, straightening it up. Essentially, it's just one thick coating, if you want to perceive it that way, just as a thick clear coat. Has all the same properties. Start and work your way up until all the scratches are gone, and then polish out from there. So a great way to kind of practice and learning polishing techniques for your actual painted models. Although we are not using paints in our builds, I am going to throw in a few exceptions, and these are just to allow some details and definition to kind of come through while not taking away from that naked raw plastic look. And that is, of course, our chromes. Whether you use bare metal foil, the Molotov style markers, or the good old silver Sharpie, whatever you want to use to do your chrome, by all means, go ahead and do it. Again, I think it's something that we can add, give the model some life while still looking naked and allowing that plastic to show through. Another thing along those lines is our panel liners. Whether you use the liquid style or the markers or whatever you use to kind of accent your panel lines, give that some more definition, go ahead and use that. Again, I think it's something that can give it some life without taking away from that naked look. And last but not least, if you want to use any of these to highlight some emblems and details kind of along with the lines of that chrome, by all means, go ahead and do that. Just light stuff. Again, we're not trying to paint the model. We're just trying to give it some definition and details. And now we can really start advancing the build if you want to, and that is through kit bashing. Many of these kits get repopped. When they get repopped, they come out in different colors or different shades, different series. These are just some examples that I happen to have on hand. As you can see, we got 367 Chevelles here from Revell, all three different colors. You can start blending those colors together. I know that there's more colors out there, so by all means, go ahead and advance as you want. This is not a box stock. Do whatever you want, just no paint. Here's another example. This kit is all red plastic. This one is white. So if you kind of wanted to do this version, you obviously can use the decals throw in some like white seats or something like that just to add some more color, mix mash them together. Another example I might have is the Revell 53, 54 Chevy sedans. You got like a dark blue exterior, that lighter interior. And if you get a black kit, you got a black frame, throw in like black radiator, black axle, things like that. Whatever parts you have, go ahead and use them. There is no limit on creativity or part swapping or accessories, and that'll be the next part. Now let's talk about accessories and detailing. By all means, go ahead and accessorize, detail, plumb, and wire all you want, because if you can glue the kit together, you can glue parts on. As long as you're not painting them, go ahead and do it. Of course, you got your detail wires, you got your spark plug wires and distributors, photo etch, aluminum parts, whatever you want to use, again, that you can just glue on. By all means, go ahead and use it. Get as wild and crazy as you want. Another thing that you do not need paint for is decals. So if you want to add like these bed decals, lowrider decals, you got race cars, anything like that, by all means, add some decals. That's a simple thing. You just need water for it. You don't need a special place like you do with painting. Again, people are too young in confined spaces, maybe can't handle fumes, wrong time of year, whatever it may be. You can still glue some parts on, add some water to some decals, add that to your kit. So if you guys have gotten a good grasp on what we're looking for in this group build, a few options, we'll kind of finish off with some options, ideas, things of that nature. Again, you can go as core entry level as you want with just a kit, knife, and glue, or take it to the max with multiple kit bashing. Throw in all the detail that you normally would in a painted build, maybe a couple of decals just to give it some more color and show off to me and others that are like in those restricted environments that can't use paint, and show them that you can still put together a really cool build without painting. As much as I like to paint, I still enjoy the basics. Again, we'll finish off with just a few more ideas and options for you to think about. Again, we've been talking about a lot of molded in colors. Well, its counterpoint, of course, is chrome. Here we have a big chrome Allison engine, if you want to do something like that. Of course, we got some just full chrome V8s. You got a Ford V8, Cadillac V8. There's a small block Chevy in this bundle. Again, lots of parts packs. So you can take that small block Chevy or whatever and throw it in a hot rod chassis. Here's a full chrome chassis. Here's kind of the frame rails. There's a rear end, front end, you know, different parts along the way. So if you want to do a full chrome chassis, you could do a full chrome engine, whatever you want to do, as long as it's not painted. Even have some chrome seats. I think you can do about everything in chrome other than maybe wheels and a body. Maybe there are some chrome bodies and parts out there. Other ideas that you can throw those engines in is dragsters. We got a red dragster chassis, a blue dragster chassis. There's the Moon Eyes in yellow. There's ones molded in white. I'm sure there's a couple others. And I think like this Mickey Thompson Attempt 1, I think you could polish this up, throw the decals on it, and have a pretty cool build. I'm sure there's many more just like it. Let me pull out a few more examples, and we'll be right back. And a few more examples is some AMT early 60s kits. They are molded in Henry Ford's favorite color. And that, of course, is black. And that is a beautiful black plastic that they are in. Polishes up nicely, looks great built. Throw some decals on the drag version. Or, of course, a Model T should be all in black. And that is the way the kit comes, is in that black plastic. So build it up. Build up a nice Model T in its appropriate color. Or you can take this black plastic, take the fenders from that kit, add it to a later kit that is molded in color. This one is actually molded in a silver metallic. So if you wanted black fenders and a silver body, just like the box art, you could certainly do something like that. There is a million options that you can do. There's a million colors out there. Plenty of kit bashing to do. Another Ford to talk about is, of course, the 40 Ford, which has come out numerous times in numerous different colors. Plenty of kit bashing possibilities available in the 40 Ford. And last but not least, there are some specialty kits out there that you can build. They just seem to need to be built in a certain way, and that is without paint. Although the Sakatumi might not look all that special, it is a Catch the Cat kit, which comes in these hyper metallic, kind of clear metallic parts. There's a few versions. There's the Hemi under glass, there's a VW, there's the Myers Manx. There's a few different ones that are molded in that metallic plastic. There's even the old Revell metal flake ones, which are a little more rare. But again, just like this one, it just kind of feels like it needs to be built in that raw plastic. So show them off, show others that you've got one of those kits. I think with that, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer it or add another video if I need to. But I look forward to all the entries, all the naked models. And with that, we'll see you next time.